Bharat, the land of unity in diversity. But as we scrutinize, regretfully, we will find there are many threats to India's integrity. Indian society is being divided into many categories, and one of them is the division based on tribal and non-tribal. This division may not be observable, but this is deep-rooted and has a persistent influence in people's thought and behavior. The term tribal is quite confusing. It is a misnomer and derogatory in its sense and use among common people. Generally, people lack knowledge and have a prejudiced perspective towards the so-called tribal people. The term tribal has now been made a label. Nowadays, in the market, we can see tribal fashion, tribal jewelry, even the tribal food. We can call regional food, regional dress, or regional jewelry. With the label tribal, we make divisions. The moment we identify someone or something as tribal, we make another category of non-tribals. This makes an attitude of differentiation and discrimination. All the states in India have a large population enlisted as tribals. We can observe the tribal population from Andaman and Nicobar Islands, Andhra Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Daman and Diu, Goa, Gujarat, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Karnataka, Kerala, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Manipur, Meghalaya, Mizoram, Nagaland, Odisha, Punjab, Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Tripura, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, and West Bengal. Now let's understand what this so-called term tribal means. The English term tribal comes from another term tribe, which has its origin in the Latin term tribus. The term tribus means three divisions of the early people of Rome. It means those people before the conversion to Christianity. Now come to the term tribe. Tribe denotes the traditional societies consisting of various ethnic groups with a common cosmology, customs and traditions, and a dialect. Every tribe has a recognized leader. Its another meaning also defines it as a distinctive, close-knit group. Let's see how we use the term tribal in our talks based on our limited understanding. First, people think tribals live in hilly areas, mountainous regions, and in the dense forest away from the towns and cities. Second, the so-called tribals are also considered as half-naked, uncivilized, and whose integral part of life is to hunt and eat. Third, people also differentiate or segregate the so-called tribals by their looks and the way they carry themselves. Fourth and the most divisive notion is that tribals are not Hindus. They are animist, pagan, heathen. The first thought that tribals are the people who live in hilly areas and dense forests sounds irrational. If we segregate people dwelling in the hilly areas, mountain ranges, and jungles as tribals, then we need to understand that the whole of Indian geography and the topography of its various places has always been comprised of mountains, hills, rivers, and forests. We must not forget that the precious and pristine Vedic knowledge and wisdom had flourished in the high mountains, along the sacred rivers, and in the dense forest only. Even today, our reverential high Himalaya sacred Ganga and Saraswati, mighty Brahmaputra are some of the main centers of attraction for the spiritual seekers around the world. The Vedic Sanatan Hindu people have always been in close connection with the nature and have worshipped its different forms and learned the lessons of harmonious coexistence with Mother Nature. The second understanding of tribal people being half naked, so they are uncivilized, is idiotic. The concept of clothing has been different from societies to societies. In the ancient time, clothing came into existence under the influence of climate, ecosystems, and people's beliefs. Hindu sadhus, Nagababas don't wear clothes. Does it mean they are uncivilized? So we must not typecast some people as tribals by their clothing sense and must not regard them uncivilized. In fact, we see in today's so-called modern civilized society, educated people love to stay more nude, exposing themselves than fully covered, and we consider it as their style statement. People also think tribals are hunters. This understanding is again partial. We cannot deny the truth that there has always been a system in most of the human societies to hunt or kill animals for the sake of food. There is no difference between hunting and slaughter of today's society. The third biased understanding based on looks is ridiculous. We can see the beautiful different faces of so-called tribals of India. The most contentious notion is that tribal people are not Hindus. They are animist and got converted to Hinduism at one time. This understanding is inappropriate and logical flaw.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
Animism is the default characteristic of Sanatan Dharma. Animism simply means life is everywhere. Every animate and inanimate thing has life. The essence of Sanatan Dharma lies in the realization of Brahma, the metaphysical ultimate reality, the highest unchanging, supreme, universal truth that is self, which manifests itself in various forms and shapes and names. Everything that exists in this universe comes under the fold of Sanatan Dharma. It considers every entity of nature as a form of the supreme energy that flows as the life force everywhere. Worshipping nature and its forms is the default structure of Sanatan Hindu Dharma. Many say that tribal people have their own deities who do not come in the Hindu fold. That's again ignorance or the wrong understanding towards the Dharma. Who doesn't know Sanatan Dharma in its real essence? It is an earnest request to them, please start reading Hindu scriptures with full dedication from some authentic traditional sources. Try to understand the dharmic framework, concepts, models, and cosmology. Why and how it is different from Abrahamic concepts. The ignorance will be dispelled. In Sanatan Hindu Dharma, there are the concepts of Kul Devi Devtas, Ishta Devi Devtas, Gram Devtas, Sthan Devta, and Disha Devtas, and many more. According to these concepts, there are many deities. 100 years ago, the Hindu societies were very particular and had better understanding about all these Hindu concepts. Animal sacrifice before deity also comes under the fold of Hindu Dharma. Hindu Dharma is an open platform, all-inclusive, but not the exclusivity. It is a colonial understanding that so-called tribals are being converted to Hinduism in certain time period. Interestingly, our Indian society, Indian civilization has always been the area of study and research by the Westerners from a long time. So they studied it through their Western lens using their own concepts and framework for their own understanding. They have given us so many terms and accordingly made many categories and divisions. There won't be any issue using these terms only for the official purpose or academic gymnastics, but we need to scrutinize the interpretations of these terms in the social encounters, because with the passing time, these Western terms, concepts, and the framework has sowed the seeds of many diversions in our society. The common masses have internalized these terms without understanding the message these terms imply. When the Britishers came, then all such ideas were invented, given shape and sold in the market, and the people having some agenda have bought it, promoted in the society. Discrimination based on the notion of tribal and non-tribal is not a natural distinction. The entire Northeast identity is being based on tribal and non-tribal categories or narratives. What has happened in the past, a few generations ago, the northeastern Jatis residing in the hilly areas were differentiated as tribals and non-tribals, and the Christianity business was established. The people who categorized into tribe became easy prey for the soul harvesters. They were once part and parcel of Sanatan Hindu Dharma, used to worship their native Kul Devi Devtas and follow the ritual of ancestors worshipping. Even if we consider that these terms have no discrimination ingrained in themselves, but the way they are being misused or manipulated and projected to create divisions and conflicts is misleading and destructive for the Indian society. What is to be understood? Let those divisive categories remain in the government policies and files only for the related purposes. Don't bring them in common understanding and parlance. It creates confusion in our behavior and perspective. Why can't we use the term Jati? Jati as a term conveys a concept which is more appropriate in our Indian context, at the same time stretchable without any distortions in sense. The term Jati cannot be replaced by the English terms caste or tribe. How come people living in the hills become tribal and people living in the bottom of the hill become non-tribal? Please be aware and conscious of the usage of various English terms while writing or in conversation. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, do share and subscribe the channel Dharma Scan.